Hey, welcome to dotnetFlix. Today our guest is Max Mommersteeg, and you're going to talk us through QML.net, right?
Exactly.
I don't know what it is, so this will also be very learning experience for me.
Yes.
So take it away.
Okay, cool. I'm going to talk about QML.net as introduced, and QML.net is a library for creating cross-platform desktop applications.
Oh, okay.
And why am I talking about this technology? With Microsoft's recent focus, or focus for the last few years on .NET Core, for example, they allowed you to create console applications and web applications to be run cross-platform. So you can either write, for example, your favorite app on Linux and deploy it on Windows. But if we take a look back at WinForms or WPF, Windows Presentation Foundation.
WinForms.
Wow.
WinForms rocks.
Yeah, it rocks.
Those were cool technologies, but at this moment it's not possible to run them cross-platform.
And they're adding them back into .NET Core 3, but it's only Windows, right?
Yeah, so I read about an announcement yesterday. I got a notification from Microsoft that they announced the first preview of .NET Core 3.0, and you will be able to use .NET Core in WinForms and WPF, but you will not be able to use that big benefit of running that app cross-platform.
So it stays on Windows. So.
You still need some kind of Windows integration or Windows compatibility.
I even got an update. They said that WinForms and WPF also becomes open source. That's the latest.
That's true. So you'll get a lot of benefits, like.
But this is for desktops on Windows, Linux, Mac OS. It's actually completely cross-platform.
Yes,
cool.
Indeed. So that's mainly the gap that QML.net fills. I know a lot of other projects, open source, will try to fill the same gap, like Avalonia UI. Electron is something that can do almost the same. But I'm going to talk about QML.net.
Cool.
Yeah. So what is QML? Because QML.net implies somewhat that there's a QML, a pre-existing QML.
So QML is a syntax language mainly for creating visual user experiences. So QML is built upon Qt, which is a C++ platform for visualizing your applications.
Okay.
You can also write desktop, embedded and mobile applications using Qt itself, but you would have to write applications in C++, which for some developers is a bit hard. I'm one of those.
Me too.
Yes.
So can I compare QML to something like SAML then?
Yeah, I think you can. In my opinion, it's a bit like JavaScript, CSS and HTML combined, but it's typed in a JSON manner, sort of JSON manner. So we will go take a look at it.
Sounds exciting.
Yeah.
So it's a bit strange to get used to, but it feels a bit familiar for some reason.
Okay.
All right. So back to QML.net itself. It's a bridge between two technologies. On the right hand side we have .NET for specifying your business logic and writing your unit tests to proving that your business logic is working correctly. And on the other side you have Qt, and on top of Qt is QML for defining your views, for example. So QML provides a bridge between those two worlds.
Okay, cool.
With QML comes also Qt Quick, and Qt Quick is some sort of standard library which contains a lot of components. So, like we can see on this page.
And this is all open source, I assume, because it's all
Yes.
on GitHub? Okay.
All open source. There is even a Qt creator which allows you to write, it's an IDE for creating applications with QML. So you can write all logic in QML itself, but the addition of .NET Core or .NET allows you to write your business logic in an easy manner for a lot of .NET developers.
Nice.
So this is mainly Qt Quick and its types. So all sorts of component types, UI types are in here, like your labels, your text boxes, your picture boxes, your web views, etc.
And these are not only visual controls, but also I'm also seeing something like ambient light sensors and Bluetooth components here.
Yes, so it's not only visual components, but also some surface components. Also something like Bluetooth exists,
Yeah.
a Bluetooth discovery model for discovering
So it
Bluetooth
totally
devices.
abstracts the platform that you're running on.
Exactly.
Okay. Yeah.
So it works on mobile, desktop and embedded.
Nice. Cool.
Creating a simple way to interact with all the platforms.
Nice.
Alright, I think we are going to my application. So I was really interested in QML.net since there was a big gap to fill. And like a lot of developers do is creating a to-do application. So that's what I did. And
let's to do that.
let's do that. First I will start with running the application, and after that I will dive into the code with you guys. So I'm running it in Visual Studio Code since it's an easy editor for this. I don't need full Visual Studio for here. Running the application.
And this is on .NET Core then?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. I'm targeting .NET Core, but you can also target Mono and just a regular .NET framework.
Yeah.
Runtime. Yes, so here we go. This is the application. Visually it looks garbage. Those are just my design skills, which
it
are
looks like a
suboptimal. Some of you might think that it is a Electron application, since a lot of boilerplate applications look something like this, but it's I want to say that it's not. So it's something different at all. If you look at the application, it consists of 3 components. We have a component for adding new to-do items with a title, description and a submit button for adding it. We have a list of all open to-do items. So here we have the 2 to-do items that are open, and below there is a list of closed to-do items with the ability to open them.
Okay.
And the other way around. So and then there is these are all cards that you can click on, showing some more detailed information, the description that you added, and a way to delete the item.
Okay.
So that is the application itself and all of its functionality.
Wow, I want to buy it. Where can I buy this? This is awesome.
It's free, it's open source, so you can find it on my Github page if you want to fight with it, I think.
Yeah.
Alright, let's dive into the components a little bit deeper. So, closing the application, or dismissing it. My project consists of 3 projects, C# projects, one being core for my business logic, which only consists of one entity, which is the to-do item entity.
Makes sense.
So not a lot of code in there. Then we have the front-end project, and that front-end project contains all QML code. So a sort of it's written in a sort of MVC-like manner.
Okay.
So I created my controller, my model, and there's a view, and the view is written fully in QML.
Okay.
So for visualizing everything. And then I have an infrastructure project, since I am storing my to-do items in a SQLite database.
Okay.
So for a bit of persistence. Alright, let's go to the front-end project, since it's the most exciting one.
Yeah.
Starting off with, how do I integrate QML into my project? You just need a NuGet package, which you can find.
Maybe you can zoom in just a little bit here.
Control plus. Wow.
So this is the QML.net NuGet package that you need for running and using QML.net. And then there are several binary packages that you need to run on all different platforms that are included as well. Alright, so let's go to the real start of my application, program.cs. I set up some dependency injection for mainly my SQLite database, and it gets a bit interesting over here. I'm setting the style for my application, so I'm selecting Google's material design style over here.
So that's basically a theme.
Yeah, it's like a theme indeed. And I'm using an application, some QML.net types over here. And this is a really important one. I am registering a type into a to-do app library. So I can create my own component libraries, and I can use this C# type in QML. So this to-do items controller is a controller a bit like you expect from ASP.NET Core, but it's just written for use in QML for now.
Okay.
And this is important so I can use this controller in QML.
Yeah. So this is basically the glue between the QML and the .NET world to make them integrate.
This is exactly the bridge that QML.NET provides you with.
Yeah. Nice.
So, small look into the controller. Yeah. It's really simple. So it has a list of open to-do items, a list of closed to-do items. It has a function for initializing, which updates the open and closed to-do items from the database. These are the properties that are used from QML, and it has some standard CRUD functionality for adding a to-do item with a title and description, closing a to-do item, giving its ID, opening it and deleting it. Those are the most important functions that we will hit in this demonstration.
And this is all data that we're looking at. This is just controlling your entities and getting stuff to and from the database. It has nothing to do with visualization yet.
This is no visualization at all, except for a little bit of code, which is to local datetime string or to period string.
Okay, that's
some helper functions.
Formatting.
But it's still the format of the data that you will show in the UI.
Exactly, nothing like defining.
So a nice separation of concerns there.
Yeah.
And so you also don't need to implement any interfaces or derive from any base class or something like that here, right?
No.
It's just a really bare bones class. They probably use some reflection or stuff to get to the methods.
Cool.
So they allow you to use this controller by registering it in QML.
Cool.
Alright, head back over to program.cs. So I registered it to my to-do app. Then I'm setting up some more dependency injection. I'm loading, using the QML engine, my main.qml file.
Yep.
And after that I'm executing the application.
Okay, yeah.
So let's dive into the QML. This is the language I spoke about, and this is QML. So at the top you see some import statements, a bit like you know from Java or C#.
Like usings or whatever.
Usings indeed.
So you import some namespaces.
Yes, and these, for example, contain a lot of controls that you can use. So standard controls like a grid layout, something like that. I'm defining application window over here and running it. And below I'm referencing my to-do item page, which is like which is the main page of my application and the only page of my application.
Exactly.
So I'm importing pages over here, and this folder contains the to-do item page.
Yep.
And this to-do item page can be compared with what you were seeing on the screen in the application. So let's start at the top. I'm importing to-do app 1.0, and this is exactly what I described over here, registering the type. So you are able to make use of this to-do items controller.
Right. Yeah.
Alright, let's head back to the to-do item page. So I imported my own type, my own kind of library. And next is a column layout with the to-do item form, with the open to-do item list, and with the closed to-do item list. And I'm setting a target on all these different components. I also referenced my to-do items controller. So I'm using this C# type in QML.
Wow, that's cool.
I'm calling it the initialize function. If you remember, I have an initialize function on my C# controller or .NET controller. And here I have some interaction with the controller. So I'm calling add to-do item with a title and description.
Okay.
I'm calling close to-do item with a to-do item ID.
And this one has SID CTRL, and that's what you reference from the other part of the page.
Indeed. So I'm passing in a reference, so others can call this function to interact with the controller.
Cool.
So how does this work from a tooling perspective? I mean, do you have any IntelliSense here or something like that? If you do control dot.
There is. Now we're looking at some sort of syntax highlighting, which is included by over here QML. I just loaded a extension.
Okay. Yeah.
So see QML for allowing me to get some syntax highlighting, and there is a really extensive documentation online about all QML types. So it's pretty straightforward.
Maybe you
but you do have to take care that, for example, at line 41 you're calling add to do item on your controller.
Yes.
So you do have to take care that those match up exactly.
Yeah,
the tooling cannot help you with that.
Indeed, the names need to match.
Yeah.
Okay.
And they need to be lowercase in this example. So in my controller they are, what do you call it, Pascal cased?
Yeah, yeah.
And here it's camel cased.
Okay.
Alright, so let's pick the add to do item form component and dive into that code.
So you want to do F12, but that's not going to work.
That's not gonna work in this.
That's what you meant, right?
I defined some components over here and I'm importing those components. I have my to-do item component and here is a add to-do item form.
Mm-hmm.
And this defines what you're seeing over here. So the title, description and the button for submitting the item. So I have a row layout, a text field for the title, text field for the description, and a button, submit button for adding the to-do item, for executing.
Makes sense.
In this pane, in this top level component, I defined a JavaScript function. So you can just use JavaScript. Almost all syntax known in JavaScript is usable in QML. So I added a small function, submit to-do item, and it checks if the text has been set, and if so, it will call add to-do item form dot add to-do item. Add to-do item form is defined at the top here, which is the pane, and it uses the target to send off a signal to the controller back at the to-do item page.
Okay.
So it sort of wires calling this function. So it will call the to-do item controller back at the code we saw earlier. Alright. And
So that's basically like wiring up an event handler.
Yeah.
That goes back into your controller.
It has something, it's a bit complex by adding a signal and a on target changed for connecting handle add to do item, which you saw earlier. But that's the way it works. Alright, so when I press the return or the enter button, it will trigger this function. So I have a reference to this pane, and submit to do item is the function that's called over here, and that makes my application work. I also added a sound effect.
Wow.
So a sound effect for adding a new to do item, and that's
something like no. Or something like that.
Kinda. Don't. This is something you want to use, or this is one of the features that QML has that .NET Core, which is hard to do in .NET, in .NET Core. So
especially cross-platform. So yes.
Indeed. So you can leverage the functionality from QML to do the same thing. So both of the worlds can complement each other in the things that they are good with.
Nice.
All right. So I just referenced a source file, add to do item.wav, which is in my resources folder, and that will be played. Alright, let's play it, but first I want to put a breakpoint in my controller, so you can see it actually hits and it actually works. So this is my add to do item function that gets called when I add a to do item, setting a breakpoint over here and adding a new to do item. Doing it, submitting the item, and the breakpoint gets hit. Nice. So with the text that I just entered, this will call a service, and the service is responsible for persisting the item. After that, it will update the list of to-do items, so my item will be shown in the list. Alright, cool. So this is basically the interop between two worlds, the bridge that I've just shown you guys. Cool. Yeah, I think it's a really cool technology for this time, for filling in the gap for creating cross-platform desktop applications. Maybe in the future contributors will improve WinForms and WPF to make it cross-platform available. But for now, you can use technologies like these to create cross-platform desktop applications.
Cool.
Big disclaimer that I should have said maybe in the beginning, it's really alpha. So don't go and port all your applications to this technology. Use it for your hobby projects.
And then you're referring to QML.net. So QML has been around for some time.
Exactly.
It is generally available. It is production ready, so to speak.
Yeah.
But the bridge between QML and .net, that's really alpha. And okay, cool.
So that's the alpha part. The other part is really used by enterprise organizations and can be relied upon.
Cool. Nice. And then what about the documentation and getting started stuff? If you want to get started, you just showed a simple form, but is it documented well or?
It's medium.
Okay.
I can show you a little bit of documentation over here. So head over to QML and there is this Github page, github.io page, which contains some introduction with how to get started.
Okay.
Along with different types of setups.
Yeah, but that more intrigues me. I don't know if there's any more under there.
There
will be more.
There will be more indeed.
Definitely, maybe.
Yeah. Okay.
These are the most important.
So
and then once you've got the bridge up and running, you can go to the documentation of QML.
Exactly.
And look at all the standard stuff.
So if I want to use the sound effect, for example, I'm not going to QML.net. I'm going to the Qt QML documentation. Look up my sound effect, and this is really good documented.
Yeah.
So
makes sense.
This is perfect for use, and you can use it directly, but you need to add a import first.
Yep, makes sense. Cool.
All right. This is the technology I wanted to show you, and I'm really excited about it.
Yeah, it looks really nice, and like I said, I didn't know anything about it. Also about QML, I've heard about it, but I didn't know what it was, so I will definitely look into it.
Cool.
So thanks for showing us. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and we'll see you at the next episode. Later.
All right.